everyone, Taya here from Quilting Delights, and we just finished up a class with one of our favorite designers, So Kind of Wonderful. This quilt is called Color Love, and it's all curved piecing. And then when you get done with it, you are scratching your head saying, oh my gosh, how do I quilt it now? So we're going to show you some quilting with your Bernina stitch regulator. You can do this with any ruler work foot. You do not need a Bernina to do this. This is all about the quilting and how to use So Kind of Wonderful rulers and make this a spectacularly quilted project as well as a spectacularly pieced project. So let's get on it. Okay, first thing, So Kind of Wonderful has matching long arm rulers. And when we say long arm, all I'm saying is that they are a 1/4 inch thick, which is the best way to safely quilt your projects when you have a ruler work attachment or a ruler work compatible attachment to the stitch regulator. So regular ruler work foot works great on this, and we want to show you how to use the stitch regulator on the Bernina with the compatible ruler work attachments that I've invented to make your job easier. Okay, first thing we're going to do is, this is the mini Curve It long arm rulers that match the angles of the pieces that we've put together. And you have an outside curve and an inside curve, and it just depends on which side you're quilting on to make the quilting lay down, and I'm going to show you how that works here. Okay, first of all, we're going to sew on the inside of all of the curves. We're going to quilt the inside of all of the curves. And you can quilt this any way you want. I just want to show you how cool it is to quilt with their rulers and their and our stitch regulator with a compatible attachment. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to mark it, and I have a friction pen here. I know it doesn't look like a friction pen, but it is. I got this somewhere, I don't remember, but it's more like a pencil, so it's easier for me to draw. And you can mark these in two ways. You can either use the outside curve and lay it on the curve that you have sewn, and then remember we have our stitching lines discs, and I mark everything that I'm going to quilt so that I don't have anything show up as a surprise. And I'm very excited about doing this one because I've not only got the right curve on the ruler, I've got my stitching line discs, my friction pen. I'm going to mark everything, and then we're going to go right to the machine and start stitching. Okay, so you can either use the inside curve, and if that's the case, you're going to line up the center line to the corner of the block and make sure that you've got that set so you have the same amount of space here and here. And then you're going to just drop your disc down, and it's going to mark it a 1/4 inch from that line. So that's one way to do it. When we get to these intersections, we're actually going to stop with the ruler, go up, and then go over and do the next line. So every corner is going to have a little bit of a square in it, in the ditch there, along that ditch, before we sew the next curve. Now the other way to do it is to use the outside curve. And this way, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to match up, I'll do it over here so you can see it. You're going to match up this line with the outside corner. When we use this ruler, the outside curve, we match the bottom line with the corner. But to get a 1/4 inch from that seam, we're going to line that up, and then we're going to put our disc down, and we're going to mark it. So you can figure out which one you like the best. I think I like this one the best for marking, and I will go over to my iron and take all that off and redo it before we get started here. But I can match my corners and my curve. I'm going to match the center with the corner and then match my curve, and I think this is the one I want to do. So that's how we're going to stitch it. But it's really important that you mark your quilts before you stitch them so you know where you're going. It's like having a road map on the way across the country. Okay, so now I've marked my blocks. Oh, and the other thing I was going to share with you, the other thing that's so cool about this pattern is the space that gets created in between the curves. And what I'm going to do there is a matchstick. I have time today to show you that. That's with the regular ruler work foot attachment, but we're going to do a matchstick to hold all of this down. The goal on any quilting is to hold the seams down and create texture. And so we're going to make that as dramatically as we can. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch these curves in. I'm going to quilt these curves in, and then I'm going to come back. I'll change my foot out. Actually, I can leave the foot on there, the ruler work foot on there, but I'm going to match stick these and show you how dramatic that is and what it looks like. All right, let's get going. Okay, so we've got our first set of 3-corner curves done, and what I would normally do is I would finish out all the curves to the center and then go to the next corner. But I want to show you how fun it is to do matchbook quilting, and I go left to right. You'll find what works best for you. Okay, and we're done with that, and you can see the overall effect. I will tell you a couple things about matchstick quilting. One is you don't want to go all the way up to the line that you're sewing into or that you're quilting into, and you want to make sure that your quilting stays vertical. Now the great thing about this BSR compatible attachment for ruler work is that it also gives you a really great edge. If you're going to do your pieces a 1/4 inch apart, you just do your next line a 1/4 inch from that edge. You use that to line up. Now, on the next corners, I'm going to mark these before I quilt them. I can see by looking at this that it is definitely easier for me if I have them marked before I quilt them. Again, I don't do quilting very well without a roadmap, so marking all of my stuff before I quilt it makes it a much easier practice for me. I'll play with some free motion quilting in between these curved runs, and by the end of today, I'll be completely done with this. This is a fabulous stash buster quilt. I took all of these fabrics from my stash at home, and it's from the So Kind of Wonderful book called Mini Wonderful Curves. It uses the mini curve ruler, and then it uses the mini curve it long arm rulers for the quilting. All of these are available on our website at quiltingdelights.com. Just type in So Kind of Wonderful in the search bar, and it'll take you to all of their great patterns and rulers. We'll look forward to seeing you again soon, and watch our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, and if you have projects that you have quilted, please post them on our Facebook page at Quilting Delights, and we would love to see what you're working on. Thanks, and we'll see you again soon.